The new Yu-Gi-Oh! Prize support is absolute trash, and just about everyone who's expressed their opinions on it has said something either negative or pretty much given up on all hope. You already know this, but in 2024, prize support in the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG has been an extremely hot button topic. You've already had European champion and Worlds competitors like Jessica Robinson state that it's one of the primary reasons for them quitting the game, and others like 5-time YCS champion Christian Urena, who is clearly at his wit's end, making posts on Twitter saying that if the next YCS prize card is another verse vanilla monster, you could catch him playing another game altogether. Big names leaving left and right, Yugi-tubers all talking about the topic negatively, and a mountain of revenue to easily and quickly solve the issue. So of course Konami decides to do absolutely nothing and ignore it completely. So for those who spent the past couple of days focusing on YCS Sacramento or obsessively refreshing the ban list page in hopes of being the first one to see the update, over the past few days, Konami has rolled out the new updated prize support for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series, aka YCS Circuit, for this season. With player complaining over prize support being at its highest point probably in years, and even pro players sponsored by Konami themselves publicly airing their grievances or outright quitting, you'd imagine that if they were ever going to give in and say, okay, we fold, we'll throw you a bone and make prize support actually worthwhile for our only marketable franchise. But predictably, Konami has doubled down on this game's trash tier prize support and put out, in all honesty, an absolutely embarrassingly bad announcement on Twitter detailing the new lineup in addition to an update on the official YCS page. So what's actually changed? Well, nothing, and I reckon that's exactly the problem. Everyone I know and their mama already has a Nintendo Switch. Heck, Pac has like 10 of them, and as I've said numerous times on this channel, it is a 7-year-old video game console at this point. But clearly, Konami either has an unlimited supply of these things or just a weird obsession with the Nintendo Switch because they aren't changing that for the top 8 finishers. In fact, the top cut pricing for the YCS isn't changing in any significant way other than Konami announcing a brand new and also completely useless YCS prize card. This card is another verse crappy vanilla main deck monster and exactly what people hated about the last one. Not playable in any capacity, holds very little secondary market value because there's barely anything interesting about it, and honestly, nothing more than an oversized paperweight. Is it a cool looking card, sort of resembling a crossover between Sprite and Drytron? Yes. But let's be real here, who's paying thousands of dollars for a cool looking card, especially when it isn't a super rare one of a kind, or something to that effect? While the Anotherverse monster line could have been neat or an interesting idea if Konami made them into an archetype and just pushed them into a deck building booster set, or even premiered them as a TCG exclusive, having them essentially be an unplayable theme of YCS prize cards was a terrible idea. While I know it probably wouldn't be the most fair thing in the world to go back to the GX era Dark Ages where we were getting format destroying cards like Cyberstein and Crush Card Virus as shown in Jump prize cards, and you'd have large scale tournaments where maybe only 4 to 6 players in the entire event would have access to the cards. The prize cards in those days were highly sought after and would easily fetch thousands of dollars. This in turn made winning a YCS or getting top 4 feel like an incredible accomplishment outside of just bragging rights because your prize either gave you a literal cheat code for the next few events or was something that you could easily sell and walk away with thousands of dollars in your pocket. Let alone that instead of $200 Switches, Upper Deck was giving away $1,500 laptops in those days, but I digress. Konami doesn't have to go with the nuclear option like what used to happen in old eras to make YCS pricing feel worthwhile. I'll say it again, but most players would love to receive travel vouchers or flight gift cards which could easily be used to pay for future events. Konami could either buy these in bulk to get them discounted or just partner with some of these companies and probably just get them for free. But even if they didn't want to spend any significant amount of money for some reason, which side note would be insanely greedy in their position, and I'll explain why later, myself and other Yugi-tubers like House of Champs and the Kali Effect have listed numerous ways Konami can make YCS pricing support absolutely insane while barely spending anything at all. This includes giving away giant holographic, preferably QCR versions of iconic cards, printing QCR versions of iconic cards in new, never-seen-before artworks, giving away uncut Starlight sheets, or printing iconic and beloved cards in a new exclusive rarity that is only used for these specific YCS prizes. None of these would cost a significant amount of money to produce and would be infinitely more desirable than those crappy vanilla monsters that no one wants. Hell, I'm sure Konami could even pick banned cards like Baron DeFleur, and as long as she either had an exclusive alternate art or a rarity that could only be achieved by making top 4 at a YCS, I think it'd be something that collectors would be tripping over themselves to get their hands on. People often say that YCS prize cards should be thought of as trophies or that Yu-Gi-Oh players should just get jobs. My issue with statements like that is twofold. Number one, Konami already gives a trophy for the YCS winner. Heck, my friend Trish didn't even win the NAWCQ and he got a trophy for getting second. So why does my prize card also have to be thought of as a trophy when you already give me a literal trophy? Secondly, I don't think pro players are mad because you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh professionally as a job. I think most are mad because you basically have to win a YCS just to break even on most YCS trips. And that's largely because this company is either lazy, greedy, or incompetent. All the suggestions I laid out would be suitable replacements for our current system. All the suggestions would greatly increase the value of prizing without increasing Konami's overhead, in an unreasonable way I might add. So why can't they do this, or more so, why won't they do this? For anyone who hasn't seen the OCG sales numbers for Yu-Gi-Oh, Jeff Jones posted them on Twitter about a week ago and they were absolutely staggering. Konami brought in 119 billion yen that were generated from OCG sales in Japan in just a span of a single quarter. For the record, this was up 26 billion yen from the same time period last year, as Yu-Gi-Oh doubled the sales of the One Piece trading card game, and even Little Rush Duels, which I gotta be honest, I didn't know anyone even played Rush Duels. That was in 9th place overall for trading card sales in Japan, and it almost beat out Magic the Gathering of all things, as Rush Duels doubled in sales year over year. I've said this in my videos going on probably like a dozen times now, but if anyone thinks that the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game isn't a literal money printing machine for Konami, and that this company is somehow strapped for cash and doesn't have the budget to improve things, that just goes against every measurable and every single bit of conventional wisdom that we have. They have the money to, for lack of a better terms, just fix the issue and shut us up as players. So just do it. No one's asking for $10,000 in cash for winning a prizes, which, by the way, actually happens in other trading card games. I believe that Pokemon just had its World Championship and that first place for winning that was something like $50,000, but that's besides the point. Can we at least get as much prizing for winning a 2,000 person tournament as you get for winning side events at nationals? Furthermore, get rid of these crappy Nintendo Switches that nobody wants anymore. There isn't a single player at a YCS who wouldn't take a Starlight sheet, which would probably cost them like $5 to make, over a Nintendo Switch. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts and opinions, and I'd love to hear yours in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching, as always.